Hi, my name is Scarlett, and I'm from New Jersey. I was born to loving parents just 3 years after my older sister Aurora. The whole family celebrated my birth, and Aurora and I were inseparable. She always had me glued to her, and we did everything together. But as I got older, our parents realized something was wrong with me. I couldn't hear them. I only reacted if they spoke really loudly or really close to me. They rushed me to the doctor, and we found out that I had a problem in my ears that made me nearly 70% deaf. A surgery would fix this issue, but I had to be much older to go through it safely. So I grew up deaf in a world full of sound. While Aurora enjoyed music, laughter, and went to school like everyone else, my parents decided to homeschool me with an army of special tutors.
There's schools for kids just like her?
Yes, but she's our special girl, and we want to give her all our attention.
Aurora had a life I dreamed of every day. She got to have heaps of friends while I was too scared to talk to the kids in my neighborhood. I once got jealous watching Aurora dance to music. My parents went out of their way to make me feel better. They bragged about me all the time.
Scarlett is beautiful, and she's a genius. She did her speech therapy in record time.
Mom, I topped my entire grade. Look at my report card.
That's nice, dear. Scarlett can lip read too, you know. Show them. It's such a fun game.
I got ready to show off my skills, but Aurora suddenly got up, threw her report card on the table, and ran into her room. What was the matter with her? I was too wrapped up in my life to understand it. But Aurora started having little meltdowns all the time. She hated that my parents always let me choose our vacation spots, choose where to eat, and bought me anything I pointed at. When Aurora asked for the same things, my parents just told her to share mine.
That's not fair. Why can't I have what she has?
We can share. I have like 100 clothes.
I'm talking to Mom.
I didn't want Aurora to hate me, so I sent her some pretty dresses as a gift. She sent them back to me, all cut up in pieces. Are you kidding me? When I reached the 7th grade, I was finally ready to get my surgery, and all my parents could do was worry about it. Even I was a little scared, but Aurora couldn't care less. She was a school topper and a cheerleader now. She was also best friends with the richest girl in town, Kat. Her dad was so powerful, he employed half the adults here. Aurora spent all her time lounging in Kat's huge pool house. Even though Kat was the worst, she was super mean and controlling. She even gave her friends strict guidelines on how to dress. One time, Aurora wore the wrong shoes with an evening dress, and her friends ditched her. Kat is a moron. You shouldn't be friends with her.
Mind your own business, turd.
I still hoped that Aurora and I would be normal sisters after my surgery. But the day I went to the hospital, she didn't even show up. I went into the hospital with my heart burning with anger. If Aurora didn't care about me, then I didn't care about her anymore. When I woke up from surgery, I couldn't stop weeping. My parents' voices, the doctor's voices, and my own voice. Everything was setting me off. It took time and effort, but with my parents' support and therapy, I slowly got used to living in a sea of sound. On my first day of joining regular school, my heart was hammering. I'd literally taken my first few steps into the hallway when I saw the most beautiful girl in the entire world just casually standing by the lockers. She was looking right at me, and her mouth was moving. I read her lips without even trying. Did you just say I'm pretty?
What? How did you hear that?
I have good ears. I'm Scarlett.
I'm Marina.
I shook her hand, and my heart wanted to dance. She was actually going to be in my classes. School was exciting. It was a little weird making friends when I could still lip read. I was only 40% accurate, but that was enough to accidentally see some awkward things. I just pretended I knew nothing. But one day I saw 2 of our teachers talking, and I couldn't help but stare. They were talking about giving us a surprise test tomorrow. Well, it wouldn't be fair if I just prepared alone, right? So I told everyone in my class what was going to happen. Marina looked really surprised.
But how did you know?
I can lip read, just a little bit. I used to be deaf.
Wow, really?
A literal crowd jumped on me all of a sudden. People had a million questions about my life. Everyone wanted to play the lip reading game. They would mouth dumb things at me, and I had to guess. Banana olive juice? No, I love you. Aw, you're just saying. La 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 la. The whole class was rolling in laughter. I had no idea I was so fun. By the end of the day, I got invited to 3 different sleepovers. I was really enjoying my new popularity. Until one day when I learned a secret I couldn't forget. Aurora was hanging out with Kat and a gang of cheerleaders, and I saw them mouthing the words spray paint and plan. That made me curious, so I sneaked closer to them to hear what they were saying. Kat was planning to vandalize the school building this weekend, and she was making her friends help her. When I reached home, I went into Aurora's room to talk to her alone. I know what Kat is planning to do this weekend.
You little sneak! How did you know? Did you lip read us?
It doesn't matter. You can't go spray painting buildings with her. She's gonna get you in trouble.
Mind your own business.
Why do you let that jerk push you around?
That jerk's dad is literally our dad's boss. She's really powerful.
So let her get in trouble alone. She refused to listen to me. I didn't know what to do. But I couldn't let her get mixed up with that awful girl anymore. So I told my parents what she was about to do. Her bully of a friend is gonna make her vandalize the school. My parents were furious at Aurora. They yelled at her and then grounded her for the next 2 weeks.
You told on me. Isn't it enough that you're our parents' favorite? You just had to do this.
Aurora, if you get caught, you could get suspended or even expelled.
As if you care about what happens to me. Stay out of my life.
Aurora shut me out hard. After that, she ignored me at home and in school. That Monday, the principal announced that Kat and her group had been caught ruining school property, and they all got suspended. I thought that would soften Aurora's temper, but she still didn't want to talk to me. I couldn't stay upset about it for too long, because one day I opened my lockers to see flowers and a note inside. It was from Marina.
Too shy to say it in person, but ever since we met, I can't stop thinking about you. Want to go out with me?
I was so happy I was gonna faint. A real-life fairy just asked me out. I texted her yes and literally floated on air for days. I was so nervous on my first ever date that my hands were shaking. I even spilled a soda all over us. But that was the moment she chose to surprise me and kissed me. She was just perfect. Marina was funny, clever, and even my parents loved her. Our relationship was pure and blissful until we reached the 9th grade, and she finally introduced me to her mom. That was instant hate. Her mom didn't want her dating a girl, and it showed. She asked Marina to dump me, and when she didn't, she started ignoring her. She bought her siblings presents and took them to dinners. But she purposefully left Marina out. I hated to see Marina upset, and I foolishly thought if her mom got to know me, she'd like me. So for Marina's birthday, I set up a family picnic in the park as a surprise. But Marina's mom spent the whole time bragging about her siblings.
My son has a new job, and my eldest daughter is going to college with a scholarship. I'm so proud of you both.
Mom, I won an art contest last month.
Art contest? Ha ha! Sounds lame. Your sister won a science scholarship.
Bitter tears filled Marina's eyes, and she stormed off in a huff. She worked hard on that contest, and you called it lame just to hurt her. You're insane. I went after Marina and saw her weeping, and suddenly it reminded me of Aurora getting ignored by our parents. Unlike Marina's mom, my parents didn't give me more attention to hurt Aurora. But the end result looked exactly the same. My parents were wrong for how they treated Aurora. I was just too mad at her for not being there for me, and I couldn't see it until now. Aurora still avoided me at home and at school, but it finally made sense to me, and we didn't speak again until the evening of the spring dance. Marina and I wore the prettiest dresses and were so excited to go to our first dance together. But we'd only been there for an hour when Marina's mom showed up.
What are you doing here?
Just wanted to see all the handsome boys you rejected to date this rude girl. That one. That one. Oh, that one.
Mom, stop it. You can't be here.
You can't date this girl. She called your own mother insane.
That's because you are insane.
People were staring at us, and someone even turned the music down.
My daughter never spoke to me this way before you came along. I hate you.
Her mom picked up the bowl of punch, and she was gonna throw it at me. I prepared myself for the splash, but suddenly, Aurora flew in between us and pushed her away. Marina's mom went flying back right into a table of food. The entire hall watched her in pin-drop silence before exploding into whispers and laughter.
Call the principal. His students attacked me. They're crazy.
The teachers were furious at Aurora for pushing her and disrupting the dance. They gave her 6 weeks of detention and called our parents to pick us up. When we got home, they tried to yell at Aurora, but I stopped them. Marina's mom deserves everything she got. You should be proud of Aurora for standing up for me.
She stood up for you this one time. Before this, she was planning to vandalize buildings. And before that, she was constantly fighting with you.
That's you. Your fault, not hers. Yeah, you heard me. You were so eager to make me feel good, you ignored Aurora since we were kids. That's why she hated me.
We may have given you more attention, but we loved you both equally.
No way. You acted like I didn't even matter. Nothing I ever did was good enough for your praise, while you wrote actual songs about Scarlet.
Aurora, you were healthy. Topping your classes, cheerleading, making friends. You didn't need us as much as she did.
That's not true. I was upset. Making friends with bullies and getting into trouble. I would be suspended or expelled if it weren't for Scarlet. I'm a mess. If you loved me as much as you loved Scarlet, you would have seen that.
Aurora burst into tears while my parents looked stunned.
We did take your achievements for granted. And yes, we were more worried about your sister. But we love you both the same.
Then why don't you act like it?
We didn't want Scarlet to be jealous of your life. We worried about her getting hurt in a million ways, but that's not an excuse. If we let you think for even a second that we didn't love you, then we really messed up. I'm so sorry, Aurora.
We love you both more than our own lives. We're sorry we haven't shown it. We'll do better from now on.
Aurora grabbed my parents in a hug, and I wiped my tears off and joined them too. Hello, my name is Moana, and I'm from Hawaii. Please like and subscribe. Growing up, what I hated most was when my parents argued and yelled at each other. And it happened a lot. But there were some moments when we'd all laugh together. Like when I turned 3, Dad came home with the biggest unicorn doll for me, and Mom baked my favorite vanilla cake. It was the happiest day of my life.
Moana, you're the best thing that's ever happened. When you were born, our world changed.
Yes, darling. You mean everything to us.
Mom worked as a secretary at a big insurance company, and Dad worked at a local store, so we lived a pretty average life. But then one day, when I was 4, Mom came home driving her boss's expensive car and told Dad that she was leaving him. Please don't go, Mom. I love you.
Oh, my baby. Tell you what, you will visit me at my new house every weekend.
I watched Mom pack her bags and drive away. And Dad was so sad. He told me that he and Mom were now separated. Months later, he took me to visit her at her new fancy house, and she was sitting with her boss, carrying a new baby.
Moana, I'd like you to meet your baby sister, Luisa.
Luisa was the luckiest little baby because her dad bought her all the toys in the world. I liked going to their mansion, and Mom would be so happy every time I visited. But soon, Luisa started crying so hard for Mom's attention that it became difficult for us to spend any time together. Once, when I was 5 and Luisa was a toddler, Mom took us to the zoo and bought us both candy. But Luisa threw hers into the raccoon cage, and then she started crying hysterically for more. She even started pulling Mom's hair, and I gave her my candy so she'd calm down and give Mom a break.
Oh, Moana, thank you so much. You've always been such an understanding child. I hope your sister grows up to be just like you.
Thanks, Mom. I just want you to be happy. Since Mom had left, Dad always tried to hide his sadness and make me laugh with his jokes and dramatic bedtime stories. And I tried my best to always make him proud and happy, too. Once, in 2nd grade, Dad came to my school for a parent-teacher meeting, and my teacher, Sina, told him all sorts of nice things about me since I was the top student in her class.
Wow, I'm so proud of you, darling.
You should be. Moana is a very special little girl.
Right after the meeting, Dad invited Sina to come with us. For pizza. He looked really happy around her. And soon after, he started seeing her more often. And I didn't mind at all because she was very nice to me. Once, in 4th grade, we went to the skate park together, and Sina showed me how to skateboard.
Okay, I'm not letting go of your hand until you're strong on your feet.
I think I can skateboard on my own. Look! I let go of her grip and jumped up, feeling as if I were flying. And then suddenly my leg twisted and I fell down hard. I felt dizzy, and I saw Sina running towards me as I blacked out. I was rushed to the hospital, and my leg was put through so many scans and then bandaged up. Sina couldn't stop crying.
This is all my fault. I'm so sorry, Moana.
No, please don't blame yourself. I wanted to do that on my own. Dad hugged Sina to make her feel better, and just then, Mom barged in with Louisa.
How could you let this happen?
She started yelling at Dad, and they both got into a big argument, forgetting all about me. Guys, stop! Everyone looked at me, and then Louisa came closer to my bed, looking angry.
I had a big concert today. I was the lead. But now I'm here because Mom was worried about you. You ruined my concert.
Louisa, you can't speak to your sister like that. She just got injured.
Louisa pulled an ugly face at me, and just then, the doctor walked in with some bad news. He told my parents that my leg would never be normal again. I walked with a limp, and at school I couldn't participate in any sports. But I still remained the top student in the class, and everyone was so nice to me, since I'd never had trouble making friends. And I always helped them with their homework. One day when I was in 7th grade, Sina watched how I helped some kids understand a math equation, and she was so impressed.
Moana, you would make a really good teacher one day.
Yes, I would love to be a teacher one day, just like you, Sina. Sina really cared about me, and when I was in 8th grade, Dad told me that he wanted to marry her. I was so happy for them. Dad even invited Mom and her family. This was his way of finally making peace. Just before the event started, I found Louisa standing and glaring at the big wedding cake. What are you doing here alone?
Whatever I want. This cake looks so delicious.
Yes, it is, but don't stand too close. We don't want any accidents. She smirked at me, and then suddenly, she stuck her finger out and scooped the frosting off the cake. Hey, you can't do that. But she just laughed and reached for the cake again. I ran forward to pull her away as she tried to push me off. We both started wrestling and crashed straight into the cake. Just then, Mom and Dad appeared, looking speechless.
What have you girls done?
It wasn't me, Dad. Honest. Mom surprised me when she yelled at Louisa.
I'm so tired of your behavior, Louisa. Your father has spoiled you so much that everywhere you go, you ruin things. Moana was such a good child compared to you.
Well, maybe I should tell Dad to send you back to your poor family.
Both Dad and I were so shocked at the way Louisa spoke to Mom. And after the wedding, when I visited Mom again, I noticed that Louisa was awful to Mom all the time and bossed her around because her dad gave her the power to do so.
Mom, my Prada jacket still has a stain. Get it cleaned right now. I need it for school.
Okay, dear.
Why are you so mean to Mom?
Because she never does anything right. And if she doesn't listen, my dad will kick her out.
She's our mom. Don't you love her?
Well, she loves you more. So I guess I love my dad more.
When I tried to talk to Mom about what was going on in her life, she told me not to worry and said she could handle it. There wasn't much I could do to help her. One day in 10th grade, I was studying in the school library when a boy came out and sat on the table opposite to me. I knew exactly who he was. Maui! He was one of the hot, popular guys at school and was reading one of my all-time favorite books. My eyes kept wandering to him now and then, and I tried not to make it too obvious, but he was just so gorgeous. And while I sat zoned out in my fantasy, he suddenly started waving in my face.
Hey, are you okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't staring. I was actually,
It's okay. I'm used to it. That's why I sometimes come in here to hide away from the girls coming after me. My parents wanted me to be a model because of all the attention I get.
Yes, you're very good looking. Modeling would suit you.
I actually like books and reading. I don't like being in the spotlight.
I was so surprised because I always saw him surrounded by girls. I was never after him because he was way out of my league. But after meeting him in the library, we actually became good friends because we had so much in common. One day, he asked if I'd like to see the latest Disney movie with him. And I was so excited that another kid in school liked that kind of stuff. We even dressed up like the characters and had the time of our lives. I'm so happy to finally have a Moana partner.
Me too. You're such a cool person to hang out with.
He looked deep into my eyes, and then he leaned over and kissed me. I was so shocked because it all felt like a dream. And then I looked down at my leg and started doubting myself and wondering if any of this was real.
Hey, what's wrong?
Maui, you're like the hottest guy on this planet, and there's so many pretty girls without any issues like mine. So why me?
There's nothing wrong with you, Moana. You're perfect.
Maui liked me just as I was, and I learned to love myself with my brokenness. Life at school felt great, until one day, Mom called me with some surprising news.
Honey, Louisa will be joining your school. She got expelled from her fancy private school because she was bullying kids.
But Mom, she won't fit in at my school.
No other school will accept her. Please look out for her and show her around. Maybe she can learn something from you.
The next day, Louisa walked into my school wearing a pink fluffy coat and black shades. Just as she approached me, a group of girls snuck up behind her and spray painted her coat.
What is wrong with you fools? This is Dolce & Gabbana. Oh my gosh, you ruined it.
The girls went ballistic and lifted her off her feet.
What did you call us?
Put me down.
When I told the girls that she was my sister, they let her go.
What is wrong with the people in your school?
This is not one of your fancy schools, and all the newbies get spray painted. It's tradition.
That's why I hated the idea of a public school. Poor people have no class.
Ugh, she was such a snob. While I was showing Louisa around, we bumped into Maui, and he kissed me before running off to class. Louisa looked at me, stunned.
Oh my god, how did the hottest guy in school end up with you?
Why? What's wrong with me?
Everything! You're boring! You dress like a granny and you have a broken leg.
You're just a very ugly person inside and out, Louisa.
I'm going to steal him from you. Watch and see.
I wasn't threatened by my stupid sister. After school, when Maui walked me out to the gate, Louisa ran after us and slipped her number into his pocket. Before I could say anything, Maui spoke up.
Louisa, what's wrong with you? I'm with your sister, and I'm crazy about her. Please, just stay away from me.
I smiled widely as Louisa turned red. And just then, Sina came to pick me up. We had to wait till Mom came for Louisa, and she yelled on the phone at Mom for being late.
Hey, you can't speak to your mom that way!
Mind your own business, lady. You are not my stepmother.
Louisa was just out of control. I decided I was done with her. I completely ignored her for the next day at school, and during recess, she insulted some girls by calling them poor, and they all surrounded her, but I didn't run to her rescue.
Hey, aren't those girls hurting your sister?
Yes, but she can't control her awful mouth. Whatever happens to her, she deserves it.
Yeah, but she's still your sister.
Maui always had a way to make me think twice, so I stepped into the circle of girls and found my sister crying.
Moana, please tell them to bring back my bag.
Not until you promise to change your ways, especially how you speak to Mom.
I promise. Please, please save me from these mean girls.
It's not so nice when it's done to you, right? I told the girls to leave my sister alone, and then she joined me and Maui for lunch. And to my shock, she actually apologized for being a jerk.
I'm really sorry, Mona. I've always been mean to you and Mom because I always felt she loved you more. But today, when those girls were mean to me, I felt what it was like to be the weak one. I've hurt so many people already.
Well, it's never too late to change. Later that day, when my stepmom and Mom came to pick us up, Louisa apologized to both of them too. And then Sina told us some thrilling news. She was pregnant. Oh my God. What? I'm gonna be a big sister again.
That baby's lucky to have you, Moana.
And you, Louisa, will be the best big sisters ever.
Hi friends, my name is Subin and I'm from Korea. Please like and subscribe. When my mom was pregnant with me, so was her best friend.
When our kids are born, they'll be buddies just like us.
And Ben and I were growing up. He was my pal. One time, Ben and I were playing and he was running after me. Then he accidentally nudged me and I fell down the stairs. I hit my head. But before I could cry, Ben started wailing.
No, Subin! Oh my God, it's all my fault. Does it hurt? Let me pick you up. Gosh, you're heavy. Subin! Are you okay?
Ben? I'm fine, really. Saying that I hugged him. Ben was such a softie. I did get an infinity stone on my forehead, like Vision, but I didn't blame Ben. He was the best. And I wished we'd always be together. But when I was 5, Ben and his parents had to move to France for a work opportunity. And I missed him so much. As if things couldn't get any worse. Dad suffered a huge loss in his business soon after. Slowly, I saw how bad Mom and Dad's relationship was getting because of money problems. And after a few years, Mom left us. But Dad always tried to make me happy. We were so short on money that we had to shop at thrift stores, but he spent hours looking for the things I'd like.
Look at this jacket, Subin. It has rhinestones. You love rhinestones.
It is pretty, Daddy.
See? I told you we'd find some good stuff here.
Since I was a good student, I got a scholarship at my school and relieved Dad of that burden. I worked hard and was a top student. I needed to keep the scholarship. And when I was in the 10th grade, something awesome happened. Ben and his parents had returned to town and moved into a big mansion. And seeing Ben on the first day of school after summer vacation, my heart started beating fast. And then he swept me into his arms.
Subin! Oh my god, you haven't changed a bit!
But you have. You're so tall and whoa, so muscular. Ben and I were in the same class and we started hanging out together all the time. But I soon realized he was getting way too much attention from all the girls, especially Haran. And she was the worst. She acted like she owned the whole town just because her mom was the mayor. And to my horror, Ben and Haran soon started dating. I hated her. But for Ben's sake, I pretended to be nice, and she did the same. She acted like a saint in front of Ben, but not when he wasn't around. She'd do petty things like pull out the chair when I was about to sit, and she would always comment on my clothes and appearance.
I'm saying all this for your benefit. No one likes a girl who looks so poor.
I'd rather be poor than a jerk like you. Gosh, what did Ben ever see in that witch? One time for lunch, Ben had gotten the yummiest pizza, and we were enjoying it when Haran came and hugged him tight.
Oh, I missed you so much in art class. Why didn't you join it, Benny Winnie?
You know I'm a science guy, babe. Here, wanna have some pizza?
She refused, and then Ben packed the leftovers and told me I should take them home because he was full. Dad and I never ordered out much, and I was happy to share it with him. A few weeks later, it was Ben's birthday, and he invited me to his place. I saw how Ben and Haran were dancing so close to each other, and it made me feel so jealous. I went to the balcony for some fresh air. After a while, I was headed back inside when Haran and some of her friends came, and I hid behind a plant.
You've really got yourself a hot boyfriend this time, Haran.
Yeah, he's totally wrapped around my fingers. He adores me and gives me the best gifts. There's just one problem. His miserable beggar friend. Oh, I really hate her. You know, Ben cares for her so much that he gets her favorite pizza for lunch every day and pretends to be full so she can take the leftovers home. He really pities her and she has no shame. She could probably live on his charity forever.
Why would Ben tell her something like that?
What? So pathetic.
Wiping my tears, I just ran back home. After that date, I sort of ignored Ben, even though he asked me if something was wrong a million times. I just didn't need his pity or his charity. When we were in our senior year, our teacher announced a science tournament and the winning team was going to get an amazing cash prize. Dad and I could always use the money, so I immediately signed up for it and I was paired with Ben. I tried to get my partner changed, but the teacher said it was final.
So you want to come over to my place to brainstorm some ideas?
No thanks.
Hey, Subin. I don't know why you stopped talking to me, but come on. This is a great opportunity. Let's do this together, please.
I knew Ben was a science genius and being paired with him was probably the best thing. So I reluctantly agreed. We came up with some really cool ideas and I ended up at his place almost every day to work on them. But I noticed how his mom was never around. A few times I asked about her, but he'd always ignore the question. But one time, Ben and I were at a park near his home, and he asked me the strangest question.
Subin, do you ever miss your mom? Does she call you? How does it feel to live with just one parent?
I never really thought about it. I guess it's not so bad knowing how much my dad loves me. It's not exactly a secret that we don't have much money, but he goes out of his way to make me happy. I don't know how to live with two parents, but the one I have, I love to bits.
That's really sweet, I asked because, well, my mom, she isn't well. She's going through treatment. Sometimes it's really hard to see her like that.
Oh God, Ben, I'm so sorry. I didn't know he was going through such a rough time.
Subin, why'd you stop talking to me?
Taking a deep breath, I told him what happened at his birthday party.
Subin, Haran kind of twisted my words. Yeah, I told her you guys were going through a tough time, but because you're my friend and I care about you, not because I pity you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have discussed it with her at all.
Saying that he came close and swept my bangs aside.
You still have the scar. I was so scared that day. I'm so sorry, Subin.
Hey, it was a long time ago, and it kind of reminded me of you. When you were away, Ben looked at me like he might kiss me, but he suddenly snapped his fingers.
Bazinga! I just got a brilliant idea for our project.
And he sure did. Just a few more adjustments and our model worked. We came first at the science competition, and Ben gave all the prize money to me, saying I did the hard work. It wasn't true, and I knew he was just being kind. Why did such a nice guy have to be with Haran? But then Ben told me one day that he was going to break up with Haran soon. My heart was jumping with excitement, but I pretended to be sad. And when Ben broke it to Haran, the girl had a complete meltdown. She took a bat and smashed all the notice boards around the school during her psycho rampage. Haran suddenly spotted me and was coming right at me, but Ben stepped in between.
Stop making a fool of yourself, Haran. It's over.
You're doing this because of her! Because of this poor, ugly bimbo!
Subin's my best friend, and she's special to me. Don't insult her again.
Haran stomped off furiously, and I was left dazed. Ben just said I was special to him. Whoa. I was on cloud 9, and I just needed to confess my love to my best friend. I didn't have the guts to say it to his face, and we didn't have phones, so I wrote him a letter. Dear Ben, I saw you for the first time in kindergarten, and I've had a crush on you since. What I really want to tell you is that I love you a lot. Subin. During recess, I slipped the note in Ben's bag, but for some reason he got called to the principal's office in the last period. I kept wondering if he saw the letter, and when I got a reply the next day in my locker, I almost had a heart attack.
Dear Subin, I love you too. I was going to tell you, but I didn't have the courage. Let's meet at our spot tonight. I can't wait to kiss you. Ben.
It was like all my dreams were coming true. Wearing a new dress, I went to the park and waited for Ben. I was so excited and nervous. But suddenly I felt someone pull my hair and I landed on my butt. Haran!
Oh, a new dress for Ben! Ha ha ha! He ain't coming, sweetie. He showed us your letter and we're all in fits.
What? You're lying.
Oh no, I'm not. You really think he'd leave me for some poor beggar like you? In your dreams, girl.
Haran kicked me and suddenly I saw red and I pounced on her. But her friends got me off of her and then they all ripped my beautiful dress. I felt so furious that I punched Haran square in the jaw. What happened next was a disaster. Haran called her mom and made up a whole story about how I attacked her for no reason. And her mom made a case of assault against me and actually sent me to juvie for 2 months. My dad was devastated, and so was I. Even worse, Ben never showed his face, not once. Coward! As soon as I got out, Dad and I left town. After weeks of interviews, Dad finally ended up finding a decent job, and I worked as a waitress too, while I studied in a community college. 4 years later, I graduated with a law degree at the top of my class. Luckily, I got hired by a law firm, and just a couple of years later, I became a junior partner. One day, I read a piece of news that filled me with joy. Haran's mom had been arrested for corruption during her time as mayor. The whole family was being publicly humiliated. They deserved it. Sometime later, my firm asked me to set up an office in my old town, and I was kinda glad to return. I wanted to show everyone what I'd made of myself. One day, I was busy doing some paperwork when Haran walked into my office asking me for a job.
Please, Subin, help me! No one in this town wants to hire me or my family for anything. I know I was mean to you.
Cruel. You were cruel to me.
Yes, cruel and terrible. Please, please forgive me.
After Haran begged for a job for days, I finally let her be my personal assistant. And she had to do literally everything I asked. I really made her suffer for a while. It was fun, but then it wasn't. Seeing her qualifications, I gave her a higher position.
Wow, I don't know what to say. Thank you. And this means you've forgiven me?
No, not really, but I'm trying to be a better person, better than people were to me.
Subin, I never wanted things to go so far with you going to juvie and everything. Mom just got carried away. I'm really, really sorry.
After that day, Haran was always nice to me, and so was I. I just didn't want to hold grudges. But one day, as I was walking out of a coffee shop, I bumped into a guy. It was Ben!
Oh my God, Subin, I've missed you. We need to talk.
Suddenly, the memory of him giving my letter to Haran came rushing back. No, stay away from me! But the next day, there were tons of roses in my office and a note from Ben telling me how he wanted to meet at our spot. What a jerk. But this kept happening every day for a week. One day, I got so frustrated that I started throwing them out the window. But Haran stopped me.
Subin, I need to tell you something, and it's gonna make you hate me even more. But I have to. Ben is completely innocent.
What are you talking about?
Ben never got your letter. I stole it from his bag and I lied that he showed it to me. I made all of that up, and he never showed up to see you because, well, he'll tell you everything. And again, I'm terribly sorry.
I drove to our spot in the park and saw Ben sitting on a bench, and I gave him a chance to explain. Turns out the day I put the letter in his bag, Ben got the news that his mom had suddenly gotten much sicker, and he flew to France with her for some treatment. He stayed there the next 3 months, and he said he called my place and wrote me letters, but he never got a reply. And when he returned, I'd already left town.
I looked for you a lot, but I had no idea where you were or why you'd left without a word, till Heron reached out to me some weeks ago and explained everything she did.
She just told me everything, too. I'm so sorry about your mom. I'm sorry I left without giving you a chance to even explain.
It's all in the past. There's only one thing I need to say to you now, Subin. The thing is, I've always...
Loved me?
Yes!
I've always loved you too, Ben, since forever.
Hi, I'm Olivia from Florida. Please like and subscribe. My mom always told me the day I was born was quite an exciting one. At the hospital, when she held me for the first time, she gasped at my eyes. They were midnight blue in the center, with a light blue ring outside. The nurses were stunned too, and, well, a bit confused.
Blue eyes are rare, and you both have brown eyes. Quite unusual.
What are you trying to say, woman? You think this isn't our child? Did you cause a mix-up in the nursery?
No, of course not, sir. I was only saying...
How about you keep your useless opinions to yourself? Her eyes are nothing special to talk about.
And for some reason, it always really annoyed him when people noticed and talked about my eyes, which was every time they met me. And as I grew older, I started realizing that I had a strange power. I could get what I wanted using my eyes. Let me give you an example. Once, when I was 6, I went with my parents to their friend's house who had twins my age. I could tell the boy was really sweet, but the girl didn't like me much. When she left the room for a while, the boy climbed onto her bunk bed and returned with a beautiful doll.
Her eyes are just like yours. I think you should have her.
Oh, wow. Really? Thank you so much.
Hey, thief, you can't have my doll.
But your brother gave it to me. It even looks like me.
It's not his, it's mine. And it looks nothing like you. Witch, let go.
I pulled harder, and suddenly the doll's head snapped off. The girl burst into tears and went running to her parents. Oh boy, I'd be in so much trouble with Dad. Suddenly, I looked deep into the boy's eyes.
And that's what he said, word for word.
The girl's parents apologized to me and scolded her. Over time, I just couldn't help using my eyes more often to get my way. Sometimes I knew it was wrong, but it was just too easy. I only had to look at people with my big baby blues, and teachers would help me. During exams, people would give up their seats on the bus, and if someone got the last hot dog at lunch before me, they were sure to surrender it. By the time I was in high school, I was quite popular with the boys and had my girl gang too. But I knew I wasn't well liked by the mean girls, especially the head cheerleader, Emma. She was the girl whose doll I'd broken as a kid, and she hated me since one day in 9th grade, a group of cheerleaders and jocks in the cafeteria were talking about a cool new movie they were gonna watch that weekend. It sounded like fun, and I wanted an invite, so I walked straight up to this boy, Zach. Hey guys, I was wondering if I could tag along to the movies with you this weekend. Zach hesitated, and then he looked directly into my eyes. I knew what his answer would be.
Of course, Olivia.
Thanks, Zach. You're a sweetheart.
Did you just invite her to the movies without asking any of us?
What's the big deal? I don't think anyone has a problem.
The rest just shrugged, and Emma glared at me before storming off. I was still grinning when I walked over to my locker later, and I found her waiting there.
You're not going to the movies? No way. I don't care what Zach said. You're uninvited.
What are you going to do? Ban my entry into the cinema? You can't. So I'll see you there. I turned to leave, but she knocked my books out of my hand and stepped on them. I grabbed her by the hair, and we broke into a catfight. We both ended up in the principal's office.
And she immediately called our parents.
I didn't do anything. She started it.
I hadn't even touched her. She pulled my hair.
The principal also called in a few witnesses from the hallway, and luckily for me, it was a bunch of boys I knew. I only had to look at them, and they all said Emma was to blame.
No way. She can't get away with everything just by batting her dumb eyes. She looks like an angel, but she's a lying witch who has everyone dancing to her tune.
But Emma got detention while I was let off with just a warning. On the car ride home, though, Mom and Dad were really quiet. But Emma got detention while I was let off with just a warning. On the car ride home, though, Mom and Dad were really quiet.
You've always tried to get your way by manipulating people ever since you were a kid. Now it seems worse than I thought.
Okay, so people are sometimes nice to me and do what I ask. What's so wrong with that?
We'll talk about this tomorrow. You are grounded for a week.
What? Why the heck?
Olivia, enough. You heard what your dad said.
But the next morning, I found them waiting for me in the dining room with a small box on the table. What's this?
Something to cover up your eyes. You need to learn that life isn't so easy, and you can't just get whatever you want.
Inside the box were brown contact lenses. They were the color of mud. Are you kidding me? You think I'm going to wear those?
You have to wear them if you want to continue going to school.
With angry tears, I grabbed the box and ran out of there. It took me a few tries to wear the contacts, but I finally managed, and I hated what I saw staring back at me in the mirror. It wasn't me. At school, I was hoping by some miracle no one would notice, but of course, everyone did.
Why are your eyes suddenly brown? Did your evil spell finally wear off once you got all your wishes?
Everyone's comments made things hard because it felt really embarrassing to say my dad was making me wear brown lenses. I made up some lame excuse about how the doctor had recommended them for an eye condition, but it didn't seem to convince anyone. And suddenly, no one seemed to care about me much. Luckily, a month later, Dad's job caused him to transfer to another state. A fresh start was exactly what I needed. No one in school there would ever know I had blue eyes before. But it was quite strange walking into this new place and not having anyone pay much attention to me. My classmates seemed pleasant enough, but everyone just went off with their groups at lunch. I was sitting outside having lunch under a tree when someone dropped down next to me.
Hello, mind if I join you?
You already have, and I don't mind at all.
Good, because I'm too tired to get up anyway.
Plus, I've been waiting for someone new to show up for ages. All these other girls just talk about boys and makeup, and they think they're from another planet. Or they think I'm from another planet. Her name was Grace, and I warmed up to her instantly. We quickly became close friends, but I just couldn't tell her my stupid secret. A few weeks later, we were sitting on the gym floor, making decorations for an event, when some guys started playing basketball. And suddenly, the ball came flying at me and hit me smack in the face. I opened my eyes, and looking down at me was a gorgeous boy with black hair and the deepest blue eyes ever had. I died and gone to heaven.
Hey, are you okay?
Of course she's not okay, you moron. You could have killed my best friend.
Grace pulled me up, but my knees gave way, and the boy swept me up effortlessly. He carried me to the bleachers and said he'd be back with some water.
Olivia, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I see. Yeah, you aren't fine. And if he has his way, you never will be again.
What do you mean? Just then, the boy returned with a water bottle and knelt beside me.
Really sorry. We should have been more careful.
Oh, don't worry. I don't mind. I mean, it's just a ball, not a rocket. Now that would hurt. I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe I have a concussion, but I'm okay. O-Y-A-K. See? I can still spell. He just smiled at me and ran off to his friends. What a blubbering idiot. I turned to Grace and saw she'd already left. Later that night, I got permission from my parents to stay over at Grace's. So tell me, what do you know about the gym boy?
That's Levi. He's my older brother.
You're what now?
Yeah, I know. Different set of genes. But Olivia, he's a heartbreaker. He changes girlfriends faster than he changes underwear. He knows he's good looking, and he uses it to make girls like him. And then bam, 2 weeks later, some girl is crying in the school bathroom and he's got a new girlfriend.
Really? But he seems sweet.
How would you know? He's my brother, and I'm telling you, he's a jerk.
Is he here, like, right now?
Yeah. But you don't want to talk to him, right? You're here to have a slumber party with me, and I just told you.
He's a jerk. Right. Gotcha.
But I couldn't get Levi off my mind.
Grace messaged me on Monday that she had the flu and wasn't coming to school, and I decided this was a great chance to talk to her brother. On the bus, I was thinking about what I'd say to him when someone sat down next to me.
Sorry, seats in the back are full.
Holy lady luck! It was Levi! But it seemed like he hadn't recognized me and just started reading a book. What you readin'? He turned the cover to me without looking my way. Oh, nice. I've never read that.
Okay, good to know.
Wow, he did seem like a bit of a jerk, but I wasn't giving up yet. If it's good, maybe I'll read it. I'm the girl from the gym, by the way. The one you hit with the basketball.
I know that. I didn't have memory loss. It's just that you're Grace's BFF and she told me to stay away from you.
That's strange. She didn't say anything to me. And why can't we all be friends? Grace was down with some virus and couldn't attend school for 2 weeks, and I ended up spending all my time with Levi. He was gorgeous, but he was also funny and thoughtful, and I just couldn't help liking him. And I had a feeling he liked me too. But when Grace returned, she was furious seeing us together.
So what? You've replaced me with Levi now?
Of course, I haven't. You weren't here, and we just started hanging out.
And now you're in love with him, aren't you? Even after what I said? Doesn't take anyone too long to fall in love with Levi. He gets anything he wants.
I was upset that Grace was mad, but I didn't want to give up on Levi either. Later that day, as I was running an errand, I passed by a cafe window and stopped in my tracks. Levi was sitting there with some blonde girl I'd never seen before. He suddenly spotted me, and I started walking away quickly.
Olivia, please stop. It's not what it looks like.
It's none of my business, Levi, so no need to explain. I obviously misread some signs. You should go back to your girlfriend. 2 weeks, and it's time for a new girl. Yeah, just like Grace said.
She said what?
That you're a heartbreaker, and that you change girls faster than clothes, and that I should stay away from you.
Olivia? She made that up. Okay, I went out with her best friend a year ago, but things ended badly between us. She blocked out Grace, too, and moved away. And it broke Grace's heart. In fact, that girl in the cafe is my ex. She's in town and wanted to return some things. You didn't misread any signs. I like you a lot, and I was planning to ask you to the winter dates.
I need to talk to Grace first. Okay. I had a heart-to-heart with Grace, and she admitted that she'd lied about Levi.
I know he's a good guy, but I don't want to lose another friend.
Pinky swear, no matter what happens between me and your brother, we'll stay friends forever. We decided to go shopping together for the winter dance, and I found a beautiful blue dress. As I looked in the dressing room mirror, I suddenly took my contacts out and called Grace.
What happened to your eyes?
I told her all about how I'd get whatever I wanted because of my eyes. So my parents made me cover them up.
That is ridiculous. They can't make you do that.
I know, but maybe it hasn't been the worst thing. I got you and Levi, and it has nothing to do with my eyes. But yeah, I think I just want to be myself now. When I got home, I walked into the lounge where my parents were watching TV.
What have you done?
I'm tired of covering up my real eyes. This is who I am, and I won't hide it anymore. I'm done with your controlling nonsense.
You'll do what I say as long as you live under my roof.
Then maybe I won't live under your roof. I went upstairs to gather my things so I could go stay at Grace's house when suddenly Mom came in.
I need to show you something.
She pulled out contacts from her eyes, and they were the brightest blue, just like mine.
Your dad hated the attention I attracted, and after we got married, he made me cover them up. But you're brave to stand up for yourself, and I don't want to let you down again. I'm leaving with you.
We packed our things and left Dad for good. We checked into a hotel until we could find a place. But for the first time, I saw Mom happy and free. The next day, I put on my blue dress for the dance, and Levi came to pick me up.
Grace told me about your eyes. You look beautiful.
You think so?
Yeah. But no matter what color they are, I'd think that anyway.
Hi, my name is Stella.
And I'm Alice.
We're identical twins from Ohio. Please like and subscribe.
When we were born, we were called the cutest babies in town. Everyone freaked out over our beautiful blonde hair and blue eyes. They called us angel babies. Mom signed us up to be baby models, and we were super popular. By the time we were 3, we were on every ad possible for baby products, from diapers to fashion. We were everywhere.
And I loved the limelight. It's like I was made to be a star.
I enjoyed school and wanted to be a powerful lawyer one day, so studying and getting good grades was really important to me. One morning when we were in 5th grade, we started our routine with Mom. Suddenly, Stella screamed.
My face, it's burning. Mom, help.
Hold still. I think you have an allergic reaction.
Mom quickly wiped Stella's face as I watched in horror. By the time her face was clean, something horrible had happened. The reaction had covered Stella's face in angry red marks.
Oh my God, what is this? I'm disgusting.
No, Stella, it's gonna be fine. We'll get you fixed up in no time, I promise. Later, at the hospital, the doctors gave us some bad news. Stella's face was scarred from the reaction, and there was no cure. When Mom heard this, she nearly fainted. and Stella was mad at me.
You lied, Alice. You promised. I'll be fine, but I'm a monster. From that day on, my life changed forever. Mom made me wear a pound of makeup to cover my scars. I wasn't allowed to be seen without it. The whole thing broke my heart, and I didn't understand why this had happened to me.
In 8th grade, we met Julia and Emma. They had just moved to town and were also identical twins. They were pure evil. What's worse is everyone compared us.
Look at the new girls! They're so cute!
I love how they always match. They're giving Stella and Alice a run for their money.
Emma and Julia were our complete opposites and had red hair and green eyes. I couldn't stand them. Our rivalry began when they started working at our modeling agency. They were stealing our jobs. I can't believe those witches are getting more work than us. We have to crush them like the bugs they are.
It's not a competition. Stella, why are you being so crazy?
Of course it's a competition and we're losing. And either you're with me or you're against me. Choose.
Of course, I'd always put Stella first, but sometimes she took things too far. One morning in the cafeteria, the witch twins walked up to us and smirked.
Oh, if it isn't the shy one and the ugly one. Why so sad?
Oh, suddenly I'm not hungry anymore.
Don't you have something better to do? Like shop for the same clothes?
Nice one! At least we own our twinness. You guys are so boring! And it's so plain!
Oh no, I'm tripping! I'm so sorry. It was an accident.
Stella left giggling, and I was shocked. I jumped up with some tissues for Julia, but she pushed me away. I'm just trying to help. I have a spare shirt if you want.
Don't touch me, witch! Just wait till this weekend's modeling competition. That grand prize is ours. We're going to end. You've been warned.
That whole talking together thing is so creepy. We'll definitely be there, so bring it on. I didn't agree with Stella's methods, but those girls got on my last nerve. They'd been nothing but rude since they showed up. The next day, Mom surprised us with a dozen designer dresses for the competition.
OMG! Mom, we're gonna look so good!
Can we afford this? They're so expensive!
Don't worry, honey. We'll return them after. You'll just have to be extra careful not to ruin them, okay?
I don't know about this.
Come on, don't be a wet blanket. We need to win this. We'll show those wannabes who really owns this twin business.
Later that night, Stella came to me.
Alice, I have a plan to beat them once and for all.
What do you mean, Stella?
Just a harmless prank, of course. But enough to take them out of the competition.
You're talking about cheating? We can't do that. Besides, I don't want to win like that. Is this really so important to you? That you cheat and win?
Yes, it is. You have no idea how hard my life is. Always hiding what I really look like and afraid someone will find out. But still, modeling is the only thing I'm good at and passionate about. So, yeah, I'm willing to do what it takes.
No one is perfect, Stella. Everyone is insecure about something. All models use makeup and whatnot to look better. And your condition? It's not as bad as you think. It's in your head.
Easy for you to say. Are you with me or not?
I am, but we will win this the right way. Every night after rehearsal, I snuck away to study. I was interested in a huge internship in Washington at a law firm, except I hadn't told Mom or Stella yet. I was scared they'd be angry with me. On the day of the competition, we aced the first rounds. Our dresses were the talk of the circuit, and people loved our routine. But when we went on earlier for round 2, Stella grew pale.
We can't go on yet. It's not our turn.
You look perfect, honey. Don't worry.
Our routine went well at first, but just then, a bucket dropped from the ceiling and we were covered in sour yogurt. What is that?
OMG! Ooh! The prank I'd set up for the twins backfired on us. If anyone finds out, I was dead. I had to think quickly. So when we went back to our dressing room, I knew what I had to do. It was them! I know they did this. We have to tell the judges.
You mean the twins? They sabotaged us? Just then, the twins walked into our dressing room, smiling.
That was quite a show! Looks like other people hate you.
Just as much as us.
How delicious!
Don't try and shift the blame. I know you were behind this.
Suddenly, Stella attacked Emma, and then Julia jumped in too.
Get off me, psycho! We had nothing to do with this!
Yeah, let go! You've gone mad!
As I pulled Stella away, Julia pulled at her dress, and it ripped. Just then, Mom rushed in, and when she saw the dresses, she screamed. I told Mom it was the twins, but they refused to admit it. So the agency launched an investigation. But I was shocked to see Stella rigging up the buckets of yogurt. We were disqualified instantly, and the twins won. You did this? I can't believe it!
At least I'm trying. You're the bad team player here. Do I have to do everything myself?
Listen to yourself. All you care about is winning, and it's just hurting us. You've ruined everything. Those expensive dresses and our reputation. I won't be part of this madness, Stella.
As if you could do it without me anyway. You need me and you know it.
Not anymore. I'm done. I never wanted this. After that, we were basically broke. Stella had to take every single job she could get to make more money. And I began waiting tables at the local coffee shop. A week before our 16th birthday, Mom came to us with some big news.
I may have just solved all of our money problems. Girls, pack your bags. We're moving to Japan.
What? A huge modeling agency loved our look and wanted us to move there to represent their brand. They'd pay for everything and even move us into a huge penthouse apartment for free.
OMG! This is the best news ever!
I couldn't let this go on any longer. I wanted to follow my dreams and participate in that internship. The deadline was just around the corner, so I had to tell them. I can't move to Japan.
Why, Alice?
Confused, they stared at me, and I finally explained my plans for my future.
Are you kidding me? I can't believe you're being so selfish.
How am I being selfish? I never asked for any of this.
All you've ever done is complain. Look at me. I'm the freak here, but I get up every day and I work.
You've never taken this seriously.
And now you just want to bail on us.
Me? Complain? You're the one who can't stop competing with Emma and Julia. You're so insecure that you've let this stupid rivalry turn you into a witch. I regretted my words as soon as I said them, but I was so mad I couldn't take them back. I stormed off to my room and slammed the door shut. Stella didn't talk to me for a whole week after that. What's worse is they were going ahead with the move, as if nothing I did mattered. One morning, I got a letter delivered, and it was from the internship. I was just about to open it when someone knocked on my door. Mom came in and eyed the letter.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I'm not happy about this. You're not even 16 yet, until tomorrow. And honey, we can't afford this.
I guess I just wanted to know if I could do it, Mom. I'm a straight A student. Did you even know that? Mom looked at me sadly.
I guess I've been so wrapped up in your careers, I've never really thought about what you wanted.
I want to make a difference in the world, not just look good.
Open the letter, Alice.
Mom and I hugged, and we opened the letter together. Congratulations! You've been accepted! What was I gonna do now? The next day at school, I decided to look for Stella so we could make up. It was our birthday after all. When I finally found her in the playground, I was shocked to see her with Emma and Julia.
Well, if it isn't the traitor twin, what do you want?
Stella, can we talk for a sec, alone?
Anything you say to me, you can say in front of my best friends.
What? Don't look so surprised. The enemy of my enemy
is my friend, right?
Right!
Did you hit your head or something? Come on, we're sisters, twins. Don't be like this.
You did this to us. You've made your bed.
So sleep in it.
To think I was about to give up my dream for Stella, and she treats me like this. No chance anymore.
The following week, Mom and I packed our bags and headed for Japan, while Alice went to stay with our aunt in Washington. Good riddance. The next few years in Japan were amazing. The company wasn't happy that it was just me, but I was determined to make them see my worth. So I worked hard, and by the time I was 18, I was pretty famous. I actually missed Alice a lot, but I could never bring myself to call her. I needed to work on myself first.
Moving to Washington was the best decision of my life. I was my own person for the first time in my life. I loved living in my aunt's house, and the internship was amazing. They even offered me a summer job with them after I finished. I worked as an assistant for 3 years until I graduated college. Soon after, my boss offered me a full-time job with my very first case. A huge client was suing a skincare brand, and when I saw the name, I was shocked. It was the same company that caused my sister's scars. It turned out they were using sketchy chemicals, and hundreds of people were hurt. I made it my mission to take them down. And when we finally won the case, I called Stella. I told her everything. and I was surprised that she seemed happy to hear from me. We decided to meet at a cafe, and when I saw Stella, my heart nearly exploded. I'd forgotten how much I'd missed her.
That's such an insane story. Thank you so much for doing this.
The company will pay damages to every client that got hurt. I made sure of it.
Alice, I have to apologize. I know we were just kids, but I was so insecure and selfish. Can you forgive me?
Of course I can. I'm sorry too, but in a way, I'm glad it happened. I needed to find myself outside of us, you know?
I do. Really. But no matter what, you'll always be my other half.
Same here.